welcome back. I am once again here with Melissa McDonough running for Texas's Congressional District 38, which is in Northwest Harris County. Welcome back.
Thanks, Amy. Appreciate you having me.
Today we are going to talk about the border, and I just want to start with a crazy story you told me about SpaceX. And take it away.
So I have been going back and forth to the border from Brownsville all the way up through McAllen and El Paso and so forth, um, for real estate, but also to really understand on a boots on the ground level of our immigration situation. And it is a situation. But we stopped in Brownsville first, of course, on our journey. And one of the people I spoke to was the sheriff. And we were talking about SpaceX. And I brought up that when I go into a new area as an agent, I first of all look for open houses and we're looking for where real estate is and commercial buildings and, kind of how the economic flow of the area. And I
Before
found it
before
very
we go on,
interesting.
I want you to go ahead and clarify for us. Um, you have forfeited your license so that you can run for Congress, but you
Yes.
have years of experience as a
Yes.
realtor.
So I have 30 years in real estate, yes, and I have inactivated my license in preparation for winning a seat in Congress. So yeah, but we were in Brownsville and the expensive homes, the $1 million homes, they're on the Mexico side of the border. So that was fun to visit and see an open house, go to an open house.
But it's not really the
And
border, it's just the border wall.
it's the border wall. It's five
It-
miles to the actual border. The border wall is 5 miles inland, and we just kind of give all that land to Mexico, I guess. I don't know. I can't reason that. So I was speaking to the real estate agent there, and I'm like, "Are we not concerned that we're on the Mexico side?" And she's like, "No, no, we don't worry." She goes, "Don't worry about that. That gate will never happen. It's just a couple panels, and that's all that's there." And it is. There's just a couple panels, and that's all that's there. My husband even climbed one of the panels, and nobody came by and said hi. And by the way, you can climb them. We have pictures of him literally climbing the wall. So it was kind of a non-issue. But then I was speaking to restaurants. I'll go in and talk to residents, and I was asking, what do you like about Brownsville? What do you dislike? And the number one thing they kept talking about was SpaceX. Everybody hates SpaceX. And I'm going, okay. I was raised in Florida, Central Florida, even, rose around, space, live in Houston, Texas. Yes, we're space. Even my youngest son is an aerospace engineer that attended Embry-Riddle University. So I'm like, oh, okay, we are a space family. But you hate SpaceX. And he's like, yeah. Did you see the concrete explosion that happened this week? And I went, yeah, yeah, I did actually. And he goes, yeah, so we provide the security. Taxpayers pay for that, by the way, but we provide the security. And the photographers go out to the beach and take pictures back towards the rocket. Well, when the concrete exploded, people on the beach just like ran like he said, like roaches. It was just like everybody just started running. And he goes, no, no, wrong way. He goes, people were just running to the Mexico side. And he goes, you can't come back. So they're in their swimming trunks, t-shirt, got their camera, but they ran through the Mexico side, so they have to go back through the Mexico border back into the US. And he's like, "Tell me who brought their wallet and their passport because all those people had was swimming trunks and their cameras." So at that point, he's like, "I don't know how many people are still stuck over there." But high tide happened and their cars got washed and everything. And I'm going, "This is insane. This is this is what we do. This is what we do."
Oh, God. Um, so along with immigration and the borders, there are people who own property that purposely bought property along the Rio Grande because they have
Access to water.
ranches.
Access to water is the number one thing we look at when I'm representing a client when they're purchasing ranch property, especially for cattle, or any type of grazing that we are going to need to have. It's access to water. Even our fields, it's how close, if we need to pump water, is again access to water. So most of the families along the Rio Grande are legacy families. They've been there for hundreds of years. And this is passed throughout their family. So when you see a border wall that or panels, because again, it's not a wall, it's fence panels. And you'll have a panel here, and it'll be 5 miles later, you'll have another panel, and then there's another panel that you can see underway, kind of a thing. And I was asking one of the farmers, I'm like, how are you getting access to water once they finish this wall? And he goes, therein lies the problem, Melissa. We have to have access. And I'm like, I understand. He goes, so we're trying to get them where they give us a gate or something that we can have a key to where we actually have control over who comes and goes so that we can go on the other side. And I'm going, that doesn't sound like it's secure. But okay, so if they don't give you a key or put in a gate, they go, well, we're given 5 miles of our land to Mexico along with the water access. And I'm like, but that's the most premium land of the farm. That's how we evaluate farm pricing. And they're like, yes, herein lies the problem. I'm going, this is a problem. This is a problem. And the workers that work for them cross back and forth all day long. They come over, they do the work, they go back home. And so we're going to be shutting them out also. There's a whole colossal of things that end up happening from an ecological point of view, from like the butterflies, and how they help pollinate, and the animals that run back and forth, because you have the Rio Grande, but some areas of it is animal crossings, and they migrate. And you're messing with that migration, which messes with our food supply. But then there's areas that it's a huge cavern. There's no way anybody is going to be able to climb that rock. And we're still going to put a wall on it? It is a wall. Why would we spend all these billions of dollars to put something there that it's naturally there? So it's an issue.
Well, I think so. It's so many people that I talk to, and let's be quite honest. A lot of it's just flat out bigotry.
It is. It's racism.
It's racism, it's
Mhm.
bigotry in its many forms. You know, I don't want to limit us to racism because there's all sorts of bigotry,
There is.
right?
I agree.
You're right. So, um, yeah, when they were like, build the wall and deport them and all that, I don't think they understand how that affects our environment, how it affects our prosperity as a nation, and our workforce and our health and everything else, you know, and our farms.
I agree. I also know that we have not looked at immigration as far as the paperwork and status and clarifications of that, the definition of it, for decades. And it really needs a good sit down. Let's look through it. Let's find good pathways to citizenship that make sense and that are obtainable. I didn't realize that when you say that this person's undocumented could mean that they didn't have a document to leave the country that they were fleeing from. You have some, moms with children that left in the middle of the night, but grabbed a backpack that has the kids' birth certificates and their birth certificates and school records and doctor records, they're in the backpack. They have some documents, but those countries require a document and permission to be able to leave. We are fortunate here in the US that we don't require a document. We don't have to ask the government to be able to leave the country and visit somewhere else. They do. And that is part of that misunderstanding. The other misunderstanding that I didn't realize is that we literally label someone as carrying drugs, even if it's in a prescription bottle with their name on it, until they can verify the drug that's in there and that it's in that's what matches. They are considering carrying drugs, illegal, illicit drugs. And I'm going, we need to understand the terms and the process and make that better. To expect an immigrant who is, again, fleeing country to come here and then tell them, okay, well, we've processed your paperwork, but your court date is not going to be for years from now. Um, again, how does that happen when there's only a few areas of Texas, meaning Dallas and Houston, that you go to immigration court? How do you get there? How do you create means? We have the ability to do this. We have the ability to put people to work all day long. We could identify work through workforce as a database that the government owns and say, okay, you have this ability. Hey, if you're going to pay taxes, pay into Social Security, pay into Medicare and Medicaid, here's a job for you. Go to work and pay into our system. Now, please note that they receive zero benefit. They receive no health care. They receive no Medicaid or Medicare, and they do not receive Social Security. Only US citizens receive those privileges.
And we voted on a thing that was kind of, we do this every odd numbered year. We vote on amendments to the Texas Constitution. And frequently, Republicans will put some stupid amendment on there to make illegal a thing that's already illegal.
Illegal.
Right.
Yes.
And so this year it was, you have to be a citizen to vote. Well, that's already the law nationally,
It's
much
actually a
less in
federal
Texas.
offense to vote in an election when you are not a citizen. And there's already a process. I personally have worked every single job of our election system.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been a presiding judge. I have been on ballot board appointed by the commissioner's court. I have been on signature verification and even central count. I even testified on the 2022 election for Harris County in court. So I really understand our election system. And for someone to come in and say, hey, it's illegal to vote if you're not a citizen, and I'm going, yeah, that really is hard to do, considering you're not in the database as a citizen.
Right.
So you will not vote. I mean, there's no way of even giving you a little ticket. It doesn't happen. But does this give them brownie points? I don't know. I think it's wasting people's time, energy, and most importantly, our tax money that is so precious to us. We could lower our tax amounts just by simply doing the job that Americans want us to do.
Exactly. Well, let's um, wrap up our discussion here of the border for today. And let me get your final thoughts on immigration on the border and what what can we do to move forward on that issue?
I think we need to, first of all, we used to have a program where the state, not federal state department would hire intern attorneys that would go down and process paperwork. And that was an amazing program for them. They got job experience And we got to process that paperwork and get it ready for court much faster. So it was streamlined. In the first Trump administration, he did away with that program. So that would be one of the first things that we could set in play. The second thing is, I actually agree with the Republicans federalizing the border. It is a federal border, and it should have the resources of the federal government. Now, in speaking to our entities down there, Border Patrol, the National Guard, Customs, and so forth, the number one thing they keep talking to me about was communication ability. It's like they have no streamline to mesh them together, no ability to even use the same walkie-talkies and so forth, be on the same comms, that each one of them is siloed and they all do a different job. They have no way of integrating together. That was the number one complaint. There was a bill that was put in forth on the Senate floor that was a 400-page bill, and it included the funding and the ability for them to work together along with the technology they were requesting. And that didn't go anywhere. Why? Because Donald Trump wanted to run on immigration. Okay, you want to run on immigration. Where's the 400-page bill not moving through? You're now there. So I guess you didn't want to run on immigration and fix immigration because that's what was being asked for. So bring back that bill. Let's get that Band-Aid put in place and let's really sit down and put together a cohesive, streamlined immigration plan that works for everybody, that works for us as citizens, that grows our economy, that works for those who are seeking shelter, that are seeking the safety. And have it work where it's streamlined and doesn't take as much time. It's too much time.
And the only way that that happens is if we elect Democrats like you to both the House and the Senate. And so, where can people go to learn more about your campaign and to donate to your campaign?
Yes, I always say we need your time, your talent, and your treasure. So you can go to melissaforcongress.com.
And that's FOR spelled out.
Yes, ma'am.
melissaforcongress.com. Well, thank you so much, Melissa,
Thank
and
you. I appreciate it, Amy.
best of luck in your election.